So I was taking a walk through the National Arboretum when I saw these delicate purplish flowers crowning this bonsai tree, surrounded by the misty windows and flinty gravel. I knew I wanted to capture them. I selected a sheet of high-density polyethylene fibers, aka Tyvek, because of its translucence and texture, but mostly because I wanted to see what painting on it would be like. Framing the page with 3/4-inch painter's tape, I'm putting down some titanium white like a primer. And now I'm using carbon black right at the edge. To start creating some of the gray of the gravel, I'm mixing these together. The lack of water absorption with the Tyvek is a factor right away. While it is easy to blend the colors together, they don't stay put if they have too much water mixed in. Thicker paint is the way to go. Next is Micaceous iron oxide. Its particles are much too chunky to sit well on such a slippery surface. I'm trying to fix the patchiness from the iron oxide by blending with a dry brush. It's making an interestingly crisp but wispy edge here. Every time I blend, the black just disappears, so I keep adding more black, and also more iron oxide. I'm letting the dark section dry for a bit, and moving on to iridescent silver fine. I'm hoping that using it as an underpainting will give everything a subtle gleam. Now I'm picking up some burnt umber for the tree's bark, and unsurprisingly, the wateriness of watercolor doesn't stick well on Tyvek or over acrylic. The dry brush is removing the paint rather than blending it, so I try to put back more burnt umber here. Leaving watercolor alone for a moment, I'm using primary cyan to bring in the blue of the bonsai's ceramic pot. This blends with the burnt umber to be less blue and more green than I'd like. None of this feels like it is working, so I'm using some carbon black to mute down the burnt umber and see if that changes how I feel about the brown and the blue. It doesn't. Still mulling over this problem, I turn to Chromium Oxide green to distract me for a while. This is thick and opaque paint that paints smoothly on the Tyvek. I'm so taken with the ease of application that I paint over the burnt umber problem entirely. Then a new issue arises. If I paint over the chromium green while it's still wet, it starts to lift up previously brushed on paint. Maybe phthalo green, yellow shade, will help. Nope. The cyan has dried sufficiently for me to carefully paint on another coat, brightening the blue. I decide it's time to work on the pinky purple of the flowers using Quinacridone Magenta mixed with cyan. By this point, I'm using a very delicate stroke, and the mixed paint is staying put on the surface. I try again to blend with the dry brush. It lifts off the thinner painted areas in a way that I don't mind. I touch things up with the magenta and then reassess the green, adding carbon black. I want to take down the boldness of the green's saturation and make it more shadowy, so it highlights the magenta more. The cyan is out. I realized the blue wasn't a key part of the color combination I was initially drawn to, and the chromium green's opaqueness makes the change simple. As I mull over the elimination of another color, I work on capturing some of the shimmeriness of the light with iridescent silver. I want another layer of the iron oxide to amp up the sparkle and the gritty texture. This more limited color palette feels right, but I want to bring in something for the paler petals of the flowers. This is Interference Violet, Fine, which not only offers a smooth, sheer violet shimmer, but the reflect also shifts to a pale green. Let's pull up the framing tape. And the black leaked. I try to fix the blotches with titanium white, but it's not opaque enough to provide the necessary coverage. Sometimes the best solution is a patch. And Tyvek is easy to cut into small rectangles and glue down. Can you see Interference Violet's pale green shift? The Tyvek's paint-repelling surface reinforced one key theme for me with this painting: subtraction. Whittling down the number of colors helped me to understand better which colors I was attracted to initially and that I wanted to prioritize here. Yep, another pretty good walk.